The Fulanis, they always had intention of conquering all the Yoruba land. And without Balogun Odenilo, they would have been ruling us the way they did in northern part of Nigeria. The Hausas were conquered. So when we now talk of Hausa Fulani, there's nothing like that. But because they were conquered by the Fulanis at that time, that's why the Fulani is now the Hema. Most of the places now you hear of Hema of Kano, you hear of Hema of Sokoto. They are Fulanis. They are Fulanis. They are not the original owner of the land. They try it in Yoruba land. But our forefathers, Balogun Odenilo, suppressed the insurrection of the Fulani at the Battle of Osogbo in 1840.
But they captured the Ilorin, Yoruba land.
Yes, they captured it through deception. You see, they betray Afanja. Afanja trusted them because they projected themselves with their religion, and he allowed them. He accommodated these people. He accommodated them because he thought, well, maybe they will bring peace to the land, but they had ulterior motive. So through his trust in the people of the Fulani extracts, they betrayed him and they took Ilorin from the Yorubas.
Did Afanja betray Yoruba land?
It may appear so. It may appear so, actually, because of what transpired between Alaafin Oyo and Afanja. There was an issue between Alaafin of Oyo and Afanja himself. That can appear to, because Afanja declared independence from the Yorubas, trusting in the Fulanis when he declared independence from Alaafin, and that could amount to betrayal. He paid with his life for that betrayal.
He trusted Alimi.
He trusted Halime, totally. Halime put himself in the service. He became a priest to Afanja, Halime himself. So Afanja did not make use of his own army anymore. There was alliance in Yoruba land, including the Gogon, the Onikoyi of Ikoyi. They all form alliance to fight the enemy. But Afanja now rely on the soldiers of the Fulanis. So they betray him because they have their own motive. And Afanja was not careful. The betrayer, and Alaafin Aole put a curse on him because he was the one that brought about the death of Alaafin Aole. And so because of that betrayer, he put a curse on him before he committed suicide. After Oyo was besieged, led by Afanja. So now, Aole now put a curse on Afanja before he died. And so that curse now came to pass when the Fulani betrayed him and killed him.
A lot of Nigerians don't appreciate our history. They don't also appreciate what has been happening in this country, especially in the past few years. I believe that if people know history, they will know why the Fulanis are doing this. If people know our recent history, they will know that there is an attempt to grab a lot of land from the people of this country for the Fulani of the whole world. For people who don't know, the Fulanis have their original homeland in Guinea, that is in Futajalon. And they had an outing from Guinea. From 1804, the outing in Nigeria was represented by the Usman Dan Fodio Jihad. It succeeded. There was a caliphate which they established outside even the boundaries of this country, because the caliphate from Sokoto, if you go up country, it went into Chad, it went into Niger. And then from independence, we have had about 3 Fulani leaders who have led this country. But in the original homeland, which is Guinea, the Fulanis have not been allowed to lead Guinea. So Nigeria has become their second preferred homeland, where they are inviting the Fulanis of the whole world to come and claim as their own country. And people should realize this. And if we sit down here on our ancestral lands in this country, and somebody comes in to kill us, it becomes a problem. Let me just say this.
Professor, I'm afraid I have to interrupt you.
No, let me just say this.
Just before you say what you say, or what you want to say, I want to ask, how do you have, how are you able to draw this thread? You have talked about history. We all know that before now, yes, we fought intertribal wars. There were conquests every now and then. The Benin Empire, for instance, was quite expansive. And it also, made its own conquests. Yet nobody has been able, whenever Ife Modake is fighting, nobody is talking about prehistorical or, pre-colonial wars to justify what is happening now.
The Ife Modake war is a local phenomenon. In Nigeria, what happened When the British people came in, remember, the caliphate was a pre-colonial phenomenon, and it gave the Fulanis some privileges even over the Hausa states, because they manipulated Islam to take over the Hausa states, and it gave them some privileges over the Hausa states and other Nigerian groups which they used to raid as slaves. When the British people came in, people who know colonial history will know that they privileged them. They decided to divide and rule this country by privileging the Fulanis over other groups. So what happened is that the Fulanis moved with their privileges from the pre-colonial period into the colonial period. And now that we have independence, they are also moving with the privileges they had under the colonial government into independent Nigeria. And independent Nigeria is not a feudal system. Independent Nigeria cannot allow a group of people to come into this country from all over West Africa and claim this as their own country. What happened during colonialism was that the states we have presently became fixated in terms of their boundaries.
Just before you go on, I mean, there have been other, there have been other plausible theories around this. They have talked about how there is an environmental crisis. The fact that even the Lake Chad is drying up, and, right now there is a need, even the desert is encroaching. We're all aware of that. And that, pasture that used to be available for cattle is no longer available. Population is exploding. The usual cattle routes are no longer available for cattle to go around as they used to, owing to this population explosion and development and civilization. All of this do not matter in the context of the crisis that we're currently seeing.
No, all of them matter, but they are not as important as the point I'm making. Remember the so-called cattle routes. They are not today's invention. These are cattle routes which were established when the jihad succeeded and there was a Fulani, there was a Sokoto caliphate. So the cattle routes then were established for the Fulani of the whole West African sub-region to come in and out of the country.
Let's look at the Fulani question clearly.
Yes.
Where is the Fulani question taking Nigeria?
Well, there's only one way it is taking Nigeria, is to destroy the country, to destroy the space. Well, it has destroyed the country, and that's why I say we have now a space, is to take over that space and drive away, kill as many as they can kill, rape as many as they can rape, do whatever, plunder as many as much they can, and take ownership of a place that never belonged to them. That is where they are taking Nigeria to. And the resistance that will follow their ambition, their nefarious plans, is that will bring now the confrontation that will nail the coffin of a place they used to call Nigeria.
It will nail it?
Oh yes, certainly.
There's already a coffin?
Certainly. There's no doubt in my mind. The Fulani they may be politically savvy because of their advisors in Britain and US, but they are too unintelligent to want to take over the space called Nigeria. They are too unintelligent to think that they can ever become owners of this place. It's just not possible.
Is that not a conspiracy
Intelligent
theory?
people will not attempt. Any intelligent people who cannot take over ordinary Biram in Plateau State, who have tried for more than 25 years and they have not been able to conquer Biram, just Biram, and take it over, who have never dared to attack a single village in Lantan, will now dream that they can overrun the entire Igbo land or overrun a Yoruba land.
But where is that theory coming from?
Which theory?
This theory of Fulani wanting to take over our land. Is it not a conspiracy theory that might tear us apart?
No, it's not a conspiracy theory. They tried in Plateau. Plateau is almost 100% a Christian place. Bauchi is about 80% Christian. Nasarawa is about 90% Christian. Niger State is about 60% Christian. But see what is there now. Benue had been completely ravished. Kogi State is under continuous attack. And they come, they displace the people there, they settle there. When you go to Sango Katav has virtually become a Fulani enclave, which wasn't so 20 years ago. It wasn't so during time Lekwot gave them resistance. What I'm saying, therefore, is that the way they have plundered Benue, that people there can no longer go to their farms, they go into the houses, kidnap, rape, so on and so forth. The plan is to continue, once they will have taken over the whole place, is now to move downward south. That they've now moved to the east, they've moved to south, they've been killing people in Delta, they're doing the same thing in Yoruba land. Let me land. You can now see that it is the same pattern. That was the way it started when between 1804 and 1880, Yumfa, the supreme head of the Hausa kingdoms, of the Hausa 7 kingdoms, were massacred, and they took over and then installed emirs in these places. And they've not relented. It's the same dream that they want to continue now that they had a man who had greater sympathy for their cause than they ever had.
Then what is unique about the Fulani that gives the Fulani the boldness to make the attempts you have just described, which the Sultan will not agree with you?
I know Sultan now, they've now seen, that's what I'm saying, they've now seen that it's not possible, that they're just being stupid and misguided by their few leaders who are selfish and ignorant. Who are you? 6 million of you. Who are you? What is it that's emboldening you that you continue this murderous journey?
It's not about ransom. They just want to pass a message. We can come in. We can do what we need to do. And there are some hardliners in this government that are sponsoring this kind of narratives. They just want to show that they can Islamize this country. They think about Taliban. They think about the Mujahideens, and they want to replicate it in this country. And they don't care what happened. They simply don't care. As long as at the end of the day, there's Sharia, and there is whatever thing they have in their head, and they want to achieve. So these people that are sending messages are sponsored by Nigerians. You remember this Boko Haram issue started since 2012. Yeah. And I was in the military intelligence that time. We arrested those people. It is my organization that actually conducts interrogation and interview. And they mention names. I mean, I can't come on the air and start mentioning names of people that are presently in government now that I know. Presently in government. That the boys that we arrested mentioned. Some of them are governors now. Some of them are in the Senate. Some of them are in Asu Rock. The intention is to Islamize Nigeria and practice Sharia. And it doesn't matter if some people die. It doesn't matter if you're embarrassed. It doesn't matter if our economy has degenerated. Look at the interest rate. Look at the inflation rate. Look at the debt profile of Nigeria. They don't care. As long as at the end, the Quran is at the sea. So some people in this country have this mindset. And we must tell the truth. If you tell the truth, you die. If you don't tell it, you die. Some people have this mindset to Islamize the nation. And they are in the government. And people know them. The DSS know them. The NIA know them. The DIA knows them. You can't succeed without an inside person. And this attack you saw has insiders collaboration.
Now, we've always said Islamization. Nigeria, there are people bent on Islamizing Nigeria. So I've been thinking, suppose we are describing the narrative using the wrong words. Suppose it is actually a fullanization agenda and not an Islamization agenda. Islam to me is just like a peg. You know, when you wash your clothes and you anticipate there's going to be wind, you use peg to hold your clothes on the line so that the winds does not take your clothes away. Suppose Islam is merely a peg that is aimed at holding you together so that the wind does not take your ideology away. You see, the greatest, the most difficult thing to re-educate is an ideology. Now, suppose we replace the idea or the apprehension that there are people that want to Islamize Nigeria to there are people that want to Fulanize Nigeria. And by Fulanizing is by redirecting the instrument of power to the hands of the Fulanis. Now, let me take you through a small journey. Part of this journey I had described before. During Jonathan and Buhari, remember the infamous statement that the dogs and the baboons will be soaked in blood. And Jonathan, at that time, felt he was alone. Nobody wanted to hear from him because the Southwest media have already described him as a weak, drunkard, sheep, and all the negative narrative. I don't want to go back so that I don't elongate this video longer than it is necessary. But we all know, right? Okay. Then Buhari came into power. Remember all the cattle ranch, all the ruga, all the livestock, whatever, and all the nomenclatures invented just to establish the Fulani dominance in Nigeria. I will still not forget a particular video I saw where Buhari opened the borders for myriads of Fulani indigenous, non-skilled workers, non-skilled individuals that trooped into Nigeria. Where are they? There was a time that we had them on the streets, running after you, using their children to run after you, dragging your clothes to give them money. Suddenly, they have disappeared. No, they have not disappeared. They've blended in perfectly with you. Now, the whole idea of a Fulanization is to put Nigeria in a place where they can control, command and control. Now, let us leave history and come to the present situation we have. You know, I've been asking myself, Atiku and Rufai, what game are they really playing? Because I'm made to be aware that Atiku and Rufai met Buhari before he passed on. What was it they discussed? The whole idea of setting up this coalition, what's the idea? Now, when you add that to the fact that people are wooing Jonathan to come and to contest for the presidency, of course, Jonathan will not win. And if Jonathan is going to come across this video, let me just tell him, Jonathan, you will not win. Everything is just aimed at split. You know, sometimes I wonder. I hope it's a mere rumor because Jonathan has not. I think with the viral nature of this news, I believe if it's a lie, Jonathan should have come to debunk it. But for Jonathan to remain silent, that means there may be an element of truth to it. But if it is truth, I would advise Jonathan not to do it because that will mean that I don't even know the right word to describe that. That would mean we are so cheap. You have finished. Your time has come and has gone. Be a statesman that you are. You are respected all over the world. Don't come and risk being reduced by contesting an election that you are not guaranteed to win. And why is it that the northern cabal will always use us in the south to destroy ourselves? Why is it that they don't want Obi? I will tell you for free. The Fulani cabal knows that a Peter Obi will upset the whole system, will change the whole formula, everything about what held the Fulani supreme, he will change it. I can assure you, when a Fulani man is running after a Southern and come and be a president, Amechi, come and be a president, good luck, come and be a president, they are running after those they can control. If I tell you the main reason why they don't want Peter Obi, it's not because he's an Igbo man. Well, that may be there, but that is not the main reason. The main reason is that if this man becomes president, we can't control him. That is just it. We can't control. For those who are saying Peter Obi is weak. No. If you look at the how do I put it? The urgency with which they want power to come back to the north after spending just 2 years, you could see. Look, I'm going to say something that most Tinubu supporters may be happy that, hey, after all, what has said is, look, if not for Tinubu's attitude and his corrupt tendencies and his criminal nature, I want to say Tinubu is playing back every game the Fulanis have played in Nigeria. He's playing back everything. In fact, he's playing it back better. But the only problem is that he didn't carry everybody along. He has Yorubanized the whole agenda. Assuming he carried everybody along, you know, for they behind that 100%. But he made it a Yoruba thing, which is more or less like a Yoruba version of the Fulani agenda. And we don't want any tribal agenda in Nigeria. So, what is happening is that a Peter Obi is the biggest cog in the wheel of the agenda of the Fulani man. Even those our Hausa brothers that are saying that they've been reawakened, they are not really, they realized, yes, that the Fulani, this merger with Fulanis have not benefited us. Time to revolt against this union. But the biases they've sown in your heads over the years, hate the Igbos, hate the Christians, part of it are still there. So it will do well for you to, obliterate or delete those biases. Then we'll be sure that truly you have been awakened. But right now, if there's any meeting that has been made to say that an Igbo man will not be president, you let us know so that we'll keep our peace. Because obviously we can't continue the way we are. Just because somebody belongs to a certain region, a certain ethnicity, a certain religion, it doesn't matter if he has all the good underpinnings to turn this country around and say, no, we should not vote for him. We should vote for thieves and criminals because they belong to the acceptable tribe, the acceptable regions, the acceptable religion. No, Nigeria cannot work like that. A Fulani man ruled this country for 8 years. It is sheer preposterously it is a sheer preposterous effrontery. I sabi this English. It is a sheer preposterous effrontery for another Fulani man to be showing his attention after 2 years. Now there must be something there. There must be something. And if you are a Nigerian, you are, to be very frank, all those kicking against Peter Obi, yes, I'm not happy, but I'm not angry with you. You are just a victim of a narrative that have shaped your mind over the years to hate a certain tribe. You're just a victim. Your mind is a victim of narratives shared to you that, Igbos will break this country. I will not allow it. You're just a victim. So with that, I feel pity for you. But for me, I want a country where I can fill my car, I can go to the market and feed my family. I don't necessarily want anything from the government except a good life. A leader that can bring policies that I can physically see that is transforming this country. So what do you want? For us to continue in this feeding and eating on propaganda that bears no physical development on us, or to embrace genuine development that you can actually see?
Good day to our viewers all over the world and welcome back to Local Journal. each time we talk about the fact that the Fulanis have planned to colonize this country, so many Nigerians will be thinking that it's a joke, that it's not possible in this contemporary world. However, we've listened to everything spoken in this video and how their plans have been analyzed. These are people who can hold on to a plan for years, and they will continue to like kind of hold on to it until they achieve and it comes to fruition. So don't think that the Fulanis have forgotten about this agenda they have. We can see what's going on in this country. We can see the battle in every angle of this country, in every region in this country, and we can see how the whole cleansing is going on. Don't you think that it's a grand agenda yet? Or is it when it gets to your village that you'll know that, okay, these people are actually serious? It's time for Nigerians to wake up and start speaking about this, because the more we keep on pretending about this situation and saying that there's no agenda to take over this country, the more these people will keep on devising a new plan to know how they can penetrate. This was the same way they came and wanted to introduce Sharia law into Yoruba land. We know that they first tried to colonize the Yoruba land. When the story was even told in this video, how they were able to take over Ilorin and make Ilorin their colony today. And this was the same reason why they started introducing Sharia law. They wanted to introduce Sharia law so that it can penetrate into the Yoruba land, and so that they can brainwash them and also take over their land. And like what they were not able to achieve those times, those years, they can achieve it now. But as learned as the Yorubas are, they decided they got over it before them. They knew these plans before them, and they rejected everything they planned. They rejected the Sharia law whatsoever. Even though they are still planning and they've not given up, I don't think the Yorubas are going to accept anything like Sharia law. It's the southwestern part of the country or on their land. And if you look at what happened in the Hausa land, how they colonized them and how they conquered the Hausas and how they are ruling over the Hausas, that's the same thing they want to do by extension to the people of the Middle Belt. And we've listened to what the Middle Belters also said in the video. So this should give you a glimpse of what the Fulanis are planning for this country. And this is a time for everybody to start speaking out and everybody to sit up and ensure that this plan doesn't come to fruition. This is my opinion. Can you drop what you think about this in the comment section? And if today is your first time to visit our channel, please kindly like, share and subscribe to our channel.